Welcome, everybody. Today's show is going to be very packed. You're all welcome. This is the Chima Show. You can follow me on YouTube at Lord Chima. And don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and also like it so that it gets to as many people as possible. You're welcome. We will continue today to dive into the ongoing Senate confirmation for the cabinet nominees by President Trump. Yesterday we saw, I think yesterday was day 4, and it was the South Dakota's governor, Kristi Noem. She was on the hot seat. She was grilled by the Senate, and I thought she was excellent. And I got to tell you something. I think Trump just put together the most telegenic of all people into his cabinet. And if you were here the other day when I had a show on Attorney General nominee Pamela Bondi or Pam Bondi from Florida, if you thought that particular hearing was excellent, then you got another thing coming with Kristi Noem. She was marvelous. I mean, I was practically blown away. She had a mastery that reminds you of 2020 during the Senate confirmation for George Amy Coney Barrett. You know, that judge, she was an encyclopedia. So that was what this hearing reminded me of. Kristi Noem was excellent. Her mastery, her portrayal of the facts were second to none. I was really, really pleased. I was pleased. So a few things stood up for me regarding the hearing. I think I will go over about 4 topics, and mostly they border on immigration, and then there was something on disaster relief, and then there was a question by Senator Blumenthal, and other senators. But the reason I wanted to pick on these 4 items is because I feel that most people don't know about this. You know, they hear that, oh, you know, the border was overwhelmed, too many people have crossed the border into the country. But you want to put it in context. So I think that when you go through that hearing, you begin to understand more about what has happened in the past 4 years. So let's get into it. I'm going to talk about the CHNV program. That's the first thing I'm talking about. And the second one is the CBP1 program or app, they call it. And then talk about the over 300,000 migrant children or minors that have been missing for the past 2.5 years or so. And also, you know, things relating to disaster relief and all that. So let's get into it. Like I said, the first one is the CHNV program. So what is this program? So the C stands for Cuba or Cubans. The H is the Haitians. N, Nicaraguans, and the V is Venezuela. So the program was targeted towards these 4 countries and their people. And what the program does is it allows the citizens of these countries to come into the US as long as they can find a sponsor here in the US. So as long as they can find a sponsor, then you can utilize the program. So there's something the program does. The program allows for up to 30,000, I'll say it again, 30,000 migrants a month to come into the country. This program was started in 2022 by the Biden and Harris administration, of course. And what it does is, at taxpayers' expense, this program would go into their countries directly. So they will send plane or airplanes into these countries to lift people directly into the US. So people are flown into American cities, and then they are distributed all over the place, in most cases even at night. So that's what the program does. So it allows people from these countries to be paroled directly into the US for 2 years. So now the question is, what happens after 2 years? After 2 years, when the parolees are no longer eligible and the program duration has ended, what happens? It means that if they are not able to regularize their status, they automatically will become illegal. And what does that mean? It means that the problem of illegal immigration continues to exacerbate. That's what the program does. Nothing more, nothing less. So if you watch the news, there was a time when the media will tell you, oh, border crossing has decreased, by blah 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 percentage, 50%, 70%, all that kind of thing. But what they won't tell you is, instead of people crossing the border directly in some of those times, they actually go in there and fly them inside into the country. So they bypass the border. So they'll tell you, oh, border crossing has decreased, but no, people are being flown directly at taxpayers' expense. Now remember, there were times when you hear things like replacement theory, right? That voters are being replaced. Certain class of voters are being replaced by the Democrats. And when you hear that, you also hear something like, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Well, you can judge for yourself. If the government deliberately goes to these countries, fly in people into the US directly, you can judge for yourself what that means. So that means 30,000 people being flown into America every month, plus the ones crossing through the border. No wonder the border and the country was overwhelmed by over 15 million people, they said, in 4 years. That was crazy to me anyway. But at the end of the day, like I said, it creates a problem in the long run, because after 2 years, as long as these people are not able to adjust status, which of course we know is difficult to do for immigrants. I am an immigrant. I know what it takes to adjust status. So most people are not able to adjust status in just 2 years. And once that happens, they become illegal. And they are added to the pool of illegal illegals living in America. And that's what it is. So the second item that I want to talk about is the CBP1 app. The CBP stands for Customs and Border Patrol. The Customs and the Border Patrol, in 2000, they developed an app. It's a mobile app. All you have to do is download it to your phone or your mobile device, and then you set up an account. So once you set up an account, you are able to conveniently book an appointment at a U.S. point of entry, precisely the southern border, the U.S.-Mexico border. You book your appointment right at home. And then as long as you are able to fly into Mexico, because it doesn't discriminate what country you're coming from. You may come from Africa, Asia, Europe, it doesn't matter. Once you are able to fly yourself into Mexico, stay in a hotel, or you download the app in your home country, register, book an appointment date, you fly into Mexico, find yourself an NGO or a coyote that will take you to the southern border of Mexico, US. You go there, present yourself, and you're granted entry. That's how the program worked. And I'm sure a lot of people don't know about it. They didn't know about it. And it's Uhuru once you're able to lay your hands on the app. And according to the Biden administration, the whole logic behind this is that since border crossing is disorderly, like hundreds of thousands pile up at the border every week, every day, the best thing to do is let's develop an app so they will be in their home country, book the appointment, move themselves to the border, present themselves there, and they're granted entry into the US. Now, they did not do anything about the border. It doesn't matter to them. They will love open borders. So, in order to make it more orderly, they developed this app, and then people keep going in and out. So that's what the CBP1 app does. And it didn't help to stop illegal immigration. That's not what it does. What it does is it facilitates it, makes it quicker and easier for people to move into the US. There's a recent report by the Office of the Inspector General regarding this, and it says that it found an abuse, or lots of abuse, because what people do is, the report found that a lot of people were using the same address in the United States. So you are in your home country, you get yourself the address, and you know how these things work. So maybe there's an NGO, there are coyotes, there are people who benefited from it, So it became another industry. So they will give them the same address, and they'll be filling these things out. They'll be filling out this address. So somebody will be in Mexico, another person will be in Venezuela, somebody will be maybe coming from China, and the report found that these people from different places were filling the same address as their arrival address in the United States. So you find that it's an organized kind of syndicated stuff that happened. So this kept, pulling people into the US. And in the end, the whole cities were overrun. You go to places like New York, You will see a lot of tents, homeless people. You see migrants taking over hotels. The city of New York, for instance, we are booking hotels for migrants and putting them in these hotels and loading credit cards or debit cards for them to spend money. It was incredible what happened. It was definitely incredible. And the question that was put forth to Governor Noem was whether she was going to shut down this application or the CBP1 app and the CHNV program, if she was going to shut it down. And the answer was straightforward. Yes, we're shutting it down. We've had enough. So it was it was an excellent hearing. I thought she was remarkable. She wasn't looking at anything. She was speaking offhand. She was well rehearsed. I gave it to her. The other question that came up during the hearing was from Senator Blumenthal. He asked about the 1,000 children that were separated from their family, and Kristi Noem responded by bringing to light the issue of the over 300,000 migrant children that have been missing. The Department of Homeland Security does not have record of these children. The media did not report very much on it. And you can imagine if, for instance, a Republican was in office and over 300 children crossed the border and they cannot account for them. You know what the media will do? Your guess is as good as mine. So the country needs a more honest media, more honest reporting. 300,000. Nobody knows what happened to them, but Senator Blumenthal was more interested in 1,000 children, migrant children that were separated from their families. That's not a good thing. Children shouldn't be separated. But what about the 300,000? Any of those children could have been trafficked into child labor, into child prostitution. Many may even have died. Nobody knows. So this is incredible. It is not that the people who want to control border crossing and illegal immigration, it's not like they don't have compassion. No. It's because horrible things like this can happen, and it does happen. It does happen. And the governor was good, like I said, in the way she answered it. Because at the end of the day, it's not about politics. It's about reporting to the people what it is. Because such catastrophe shouldn't be a partisan issue. It should be something that the media got on board with, reported, so that way the government agency responsible will do more to get solution. So I think that that was very telling, but she was excellent, very professional, very smooth in the way she came across, and I loved it. And I think you guys should take a look at it too. Take a look at the hearing. She was excellent, very excellent. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the disaster relief. Senator Blumenthal asked the same question about disaster relief and asked the governor if President Trump were to give her instruction not to deliver relief to a distressed state, if she would obey it. And her response was that she swore on oath to uphold the Constitution and the law, and she believes that President Trump also swore the oath to uphold the law. But I think I know where that came from, because it was reported in during President Trump's first tenure that he withheld, or his administration withheld, relief to, I believe it was Washington State, because of some political differences between him and the governor. I think at that time it was also reported that the administration wanted to modify the behavior of the governor regarding water conservation and all that. But regardless, it was wrong to withhold relief to a people who are in need, who needed desperate relief from their situation. Anyway, I think that Governor Noem's confirmation hearing was excellent. She was brilliant. I loved her artistry, her flow, her grasp of the facts. She was brilliant. So I will encourage you guys to just watch a couple of those clips, and I hope that somebody has have learned something about these programs, the CHNV program and the CBP1 app. These are the programs that have been in place for this past 4 years, and that has helped to fuel this illegal immigration crisis into the US. And I also hope that someone has been informed about these 300,000 children that are missing, or we don't know where they are. I hope that the Trump administration and Governor Kristi Noem, if confirmed, which I think she would, will look into that particular crisis or catastrophe, bring it to light, so we can find these children and reunite them with their parents. I think this is all I have for today. Do remember to subscribe to this show and share it and like it. And I will see you guys later. Tomorrow, I have a show that I want to do regarding President Trump's victory. I promised that I was going to do that show before his inauguration. The reason why Trump won the presidency, and the reason everybody is optimistic, everybody is now MAGA. The country moved so right everywhere, but one state shifted right to Trump, because people have had enough. And on Monday, he will be sworn in. We will be witnesses, and we will see what the next 4 years brings. I thank you guys again. Subscribe to the channel, share it, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.